My name is David Shelley and I'm with BVA Technology Services. I'm doing a video today to talk a little bit about firewalls, their purpose and their role within an organization as well as your household. A short part of the video will talk a little bit about the residential space and how important it is to make sure that you're secure there. But the majority of the video will focus on the commercial space, the business grade type of appliances that are a necessity in today's climate for your business. So for consumers, residential type of clients, typically you have a firewall and it's provided by the internet service provider, whoever you're working with. Cox, for example, when you sign up with a cable service or any of their solutions, they provide a modem or some type of connection method, and that does have a small degree of firewall rules, but very limited in terms of what they can do as well as the vulnerabilities associated. And when it comes to firewalls, vulnerabilities are everything. Vulnerabilities are basically known problems for that specific device that hackers and external parties are aware of, and they target them when they're trying to get into your system, obviously. So what I suggest is, if you're doing any type of financial investing, day trading, wiring money around, or even VPNing into your work environment, I highly recommend purchasing a commercial grade firewall that would facilitate this, as well as add some additional layer of security for your home. You'll feel a lot better and you'll be much more secure. If you have any questions about what models or makes would be a good fit for that, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me directly. When it comes to the commercial space and what's required for an adequate firewall, you really need to focus with a maximum amount of vulnerabilities and look for models that fall within that realm. So popular models that kind of fit within that are your Cisco's of the world, Sophos, Palo Alto. These are some of the firewalls that are very popular and very secure, touted as being a very reliable and secure appliance. There are others, I would kind of consider that a mid-range of your Sonic walls of the world, but those types of businesses have kind of been passed around, bought and sold. They have a really good price point, but don't really fulfill on a lot of the security parameters that we expect at a minimum. And then obviously in the smaller businesses, you see a lot of small business owners go out to the Best Buys of the world and purchase a firewall that is an aggressive price point, the Linksys of the world. Those really aren't very secure. A lot of them lack some of the roles necessary to facilitate things like site-to-site tunnels. So I highly recommend really evaluating this, because by far this is the most important appliance in any business environment, meaning it's the gateway in and out of your environment. So you really have to ensure that you have the right kind of hardware in there, as well as it has a support agreement. And that's the component that gets missed a lot of the times. You need to make sure you have a support agreement for that particular appliance, so that any new firmware updates that come out, you can get access to those very easily, upload them, install them, and make sure that any holes or vulnerabilities that surface throughout the year that these manufacturers are aware of, that you can capture those fixes and implement them in your appliance very rapidly. Because in today's security climate, it's becoming more and more of a problem. I'm running into a lot of environments that have a good firewall, but it's 10 years old. No one wants to update it or replace it, as they're scared of it breaking or bringing down the system. But they don't realize that that firewall that they purchased 10 years ago has 15 vulnerabilities that are very known to all the hackers and bad people in the world. So something to consider, something to be very mindful of, so that you're not caught in a bad situation and a breach occurs in your space. Some of the key features that you're looking for in a commercial grade firewall are devices that have IPS, which stands for Intrusion Protection Services, which is basically a nice feature, and it constantly monitors your firewall for weird activity that mimics people trying to get through the gateway, that are commonly hacker-based characteristics, and it notifies you. This is pretty typical and standard on all firewalls these days. It comes embedded in the firmware, which is a pretty important feature. Something that is another good feature is that it's under support. This is a huge component, obviously, because you get all updates, and obviously if the device has issues, it can be replaced quite promptly. Another nice feature in firewalls today is web filtering that controls what your users see and basically block a lot of websites that are well known to have malicious content. Very good feature that needs to happen in today's climate. Also, something that is very huge is two-factor authentication for all VPN connections. So if someone external is coming in through their laptop, you're going to get that code on your phone to ensure that that is an accurate party coming into your firewall. Mostly all the firewalls today have this in their base license. Again, Sophos, Cisco, some of the higher end Sonic walls, but Sophos is probably the best product on the market right now that's going to be able to facilitate everything that I talked about in a single base plan for a good cost. I want to finish up the video talking about something that gets asked to me quite often, and that's VPN connections and which one is better, one more so than the other. And the two types of VPN protocol that are very popular today are IPsec and SSL. IPsec has been around a long time. It was kind of the most popular being leveraged for the last 15 years. But SSL has kind of become the more popular one. That's the one that we recommend in today's climate. It works very well, quicker connections, very secure. So SSL is kind of the way to go. And I would highly recommend you contracting with a third party to ensure that your firewall is set up correctly, as well as a security firm like BVA that could potentially do some type of assessment, penetration test on your firewall to ensure that we can't get in through that gateway. That's highly recommended. I don't think enough organizations do that. If you have any questions about today's video or any questions about what kind of appliance should be leveraged, please feel free to contact me directly. Again, David Shelley with BVA Technology Services, and I really appreciate you watching the video. Have a great day.